My name is William Vinson, yeswilliam.com. I want to talk to you today about time management, because we're all into this era where there's so much to do and so little time to do it. So we need to arrange our time into a more effective way or productive way of using it. If you hadn't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the like finger, I guess, the like thumb, and ring the bell, because you'll get future notifications of new videos. And I'm hoping if I get a good response off of this, I'm going to start making my videos a little bit more informative. I've done a lot of how-to videos lately, or in the past, and you know, I would like something that seems to be more attractive to people, I guess. And so today, you know, I was thinking about the time management thing. I went to the mastermind last week, and we talked a lot about time management, and you know the reasons, I already said them. So after between that and reading the book and reading some books, it wasn't just one, actually I listened to one too, and reading some articles, I've learned some things about managing your time that I want to share with you. I put together a slideshow too, so it helped me out, because I couldn't remember everything I wanted to say without making notes, and I think notes are kind of a distraction. You either got to memorize it or you're all the time looking at it, and so I decided to do this and see how this worked. Time management, positively arranging your time to be more productive. This is the theme of the video. Napoleon Hill said, plan every day in advance. And if you do that, you'll be able to cut out a lot of dead areas where your time don't count for anything. When you're working in marketing, you have to have a very good knowledge of what you want to achieve. They tell you in all the mentoring, that all the self-help books and get your mind right, mindset books, you know what I'm talking about. They tell you you got to have the ability to get through the hard times. The hard times might last for years. You know, these emails you see about $10,000 a week, you know, all the outrageous emails that you get now, I grant you they're possible for some people after you've gone through the beginning stages. Though there are people making a lot of money doing internet marketing, but everybody's not, and most of the time in the beginning you don't have enough willpower or desire to achieve it. Well, actually you might have in the beginning, but somewhere down the road you lose it because, well, nothing's happening. So, as I don't even know who said this, he said you must have a very good knowledge of what you want to achieve and a burning desire to achieve it. So if you don't have the burning desire, you could save yourself a lot of time and money just not to do it at all, as far as the marketing thing goes. And there's something else you might have a desire to do, you know, go for that, because this is going to take some time. Don't believe those emails that's going to tell you you're going to get set up and going in just a little bit of time, especially those weeks and months. Usually it's years. So what you have to do is set the table. You have to make sure everything, and you know, by using the frame set your table, kind of like write it down and get focused. You know, there's a lot of other things that you need to do, but you're going to have to get everything out there and get it arranged in a way that you can function. So you got to put pressure on yourself, motivate yourself into action. Put pressure on yourself. You have to motivate yourself into action, because you know, we're basically like, you know, if you've been doing it for a while and you're not seeing any results, you get to the point where you don't want to do anything, and you have to motivate yourself, and you have to put pressure on yourself to get it done. The results will come if you stick with it long enough. I think it was Steve Larson with Clickfunnels that said, if you want to achieve success, this is the way you'll do it. If you want to take a chance on it, you do it the other way. Now, he was talking about lives, Facebook lives, Now, I grant you, probably pretty important. I've done a lot of lives now since then, and I mean, I don't do them every day, and he says you need to do them every day, but it's not every day somebody wants to spend their day with me. Matter of fact, maybe today they would have wanted to spend their day with me because of what I was doing today, but it's not every day. You got to, and the second point, focus on your key results. You have to come up with certain things to be successful. You got to have, your results are leads, and when you place a solo ad, for instance, you're looking for email addresses and responses to it. So, that's the whole thing, and you get how many leads you're going to get. So those are the results in that particular area. What are your results for life? What are you looking for from your marketing? In just about every program I've ever been in, there's a questionnaire at the beginning. And what are you going to plan? What's your plans? What's your long-term goals? What are you going to do with the money when you get the money? Where you want to go on vacation? You got to be specific about things like this. What are the results that you're looking for? And then you got to prepare thoroughly before you begin. Because without preparation, you're not going to get anywhere. You think about it like this. If you're going to go to a vacation somewhere, you sit down and write you out a list of what you need to go to, what you need to take with you to have what you need when you get there. Well, this is no different. You're going to have an organized plan. Now, we come into this thing. Everybody's trying to learn every program there is. So you get to the point where tech is a terrible master. It's running your life. You're trying to learn all this stuff, and it just don't seem to be enough time. But it makes a very good servant. Now, if you get it to working for you instead of you working for it, you'll benefit from that. Slice and dice the task. Now, there's time building and time blocking that needs to go in it. And I put a Google Calendar up here so you could see basically what I'm talking about, where you can block your time. Now, if you notice, let's get a pointer out. Pointer. See, in here, how they got these areas, the large pink areas, they're blocked. And in these areas, they got what they want to, like here, they decided from 11:45 to 12:45, this is what they're going to do in there. From here, it's socializing. From here, it's playing. And if you block your time like that, and then during that block, if you get into the socializing block, and you want to, all of a sudden, you decide to do some work, especially if it's socializing with your kids or your wife, then that's the wrong time for it, because you blocked time out earlier in the day for that. And just every other little thing you want to do, your exercise, your kind of goes along with this, the task blocking too. You got to, the job that you're going to do, you want to break it down. Take this area here, if this is the task that you're working on, break it down into smaller areas and do the same thing with the task. It's not just organizing your day then, it's organizing your tasks so you get more production out of your time. Got to remove your distractions. Remember, look at how much time, look on your phone and you can see how much time you spend on emails and cell phone and social media. Those are the three big time-consuming distractions you're going to have. And in order to focus on what you're going to focus on, you're going to turn off your cell phone, leave it somewhere, not check your emails. Maybe you turn off your emails, kind of like you do when you're trying to video or record a video. You can't have your email open or your social media open or your cell phone on in order to do something like that, because the little banners pop up in the corner, the cell phone rings, it's all the time dinging, that annoying whatever kind of noise you got for your notifications. Something's always going on, and every time, say your email notification ding, the ding you set up for it, whatever it does, when it comes on, you get curious, so what's that? Or your voicemail, for instance, notification, you know what I'm talking about. When it happens, who was that? What did they want to say? Or your social media, same thing. You get a ding on there, and you just got another message in Facebook or Messenger or WhatsApp or something like that. Well, what is that? And your curiosity distracts you enough where you can't concentrate on what you're doing. So you need to turn all that off, get rid of it, get it out of your way, and then you can concentrate on what you're doing. Things you don't want to do. You don't want to ignore, for instance, your personal development, your family, or your exercise. These are things you need to include in every day, especially your family, because you know you're not going to have a family long if you ignore them. So set them some time out in the day too. And personal care. You know, you got a book you want to read. You get up in the morning, you want to eat breakfast and drink coffee. Maybe that's the time you want to get a little bit of personal or family time in. Just you and your wife, y'all drink coffee and discuss things together. Your finances or the day's plans or maybe a vacation coming up or anything like that. You want to get all this done, and you can't forget exercise. I think the doctors say you need to exercise at least 3 times a week. And a lot of people get kind of extreme with that, and they're there every day, 7 days a week doing it. But you'll see some of and I'll tell you something else too. I've seen people with their workstation and their walker or whatever attached to each other so they can do both of them at the same time. But you'll find that you can't focus on 2 things at once. No matter how much people say multitasking, your mind's on one thing, your body's on something else, then whatever your body's doing, you're not doing it good. Same with anything else you're trying to do. You can only concentrate on one thing at a time. Look it up. You'll see in the Google studies and in all the other studies, there's no such thing as multitasking. Well, not effective multitasking anyway. Take your goal in small increments. You know, here's one thing that we get wrong. We look at whatever it is we're looking at, and we try and consume it all at one time. And it might not be all in one consumable. And I wrote down a couple of things here so I could, maybe this would help you. You might have heard of these before. Eating an elephant. You know how to eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Doesn't seem so big if you just worry about 1 bite or 1 meal. I guess you could take it like that. And the 1 barrel at a time was something I just heard, and it made a lot of sense to me. That the story goes kind of like this. There's this big desert that people trying to navigate across it. They kept getting lost and turned around. Some of them died out there. Some of them all of them ended up in the wrong place, because when you get out there, everything looks the same. There's no way to tell what direction you're going. But so somebody decided to take barrels and set up barrels in a row from one end to the other and take them and place them in increments. You put 1 barrel where you're standing and you see on the horizon how far you can see, and you put another barrel at the point where you can see. And they did this 1 barrel every horizon all the way across this desert. So when people got started on this journey, then they just get to the 1 barrel and they could see the next barrel, and they'd walk toward that barrel. They had it in sight, so they could see where they were going, and they'd walk to that barrel. When they got to that barrel, there was another barrel past that one that they could see, and they could just take 1 barrel at a time. They didn't take the whole desert at once. They took how much ever they could see at one time, so they didn't lose direction of where they were going. Hope that makes sense to you. It made good sense to me. I never heard that one before. Upgrade your key skills. Now, you're good at some things and not so good at other things. So you got to work at what you're good at. That's your money maker. And in order to do this, you have to identify the skills that you're good at. So here's how you do that. You write down what needs to be done, what needs to be accomplished to get the task done. You list and the things that you can do, and then take out of those the top 3 things that you're the best at. So you only have to concentrate on 3 of those things, or maybe 2 of them if you're, depending on how long your list is. If there's 10, you'll want to concentrate on no more than 3. So you can see you've saved 70% of your time then not concentrating on 10 things and just 3. Take those other 7 things and give them to somebody else to do. Outsource them, Fiverr or Upwork, places like that. Now, the 80-20 rule. I couldn't pronounce the guy's name that said this, but he says, we always have time enough. We always have time enough if we use it right. So you just got to use it right. And that's what we're talking about now, getting your time scheduled to where it turns out to where something that you accomplish what your goals and your tasks are. Now, it turns out that an economic activity is subject to this rule. There's a rule to economic activity. And I don't know who figured it out, but it's called the 80-20 rule. But it goes something like this, that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. 20% of your products or services will account 20% of your 20% of your products or services will account for 80% of your profits. 20% of your customers will result in 80% of your sales. 20% of the task will result in 80% of the value. So, if you write down 2 of the skills that you're going to need, the skills that you're real good at, and concentrate on them and outsource the other 8, then you've saved 80% of your time that you can devote to the 20 and even get better at that. And that's how you upgrade your key skills. So in summary, these are the things that we might not have been exact words, but this is the kind of idea. The greater the clarity, the easier it'll be for you to overcome obstacles. You're going to have to clarify. You remember back when we began this, is making a plan. You've got to have your plan right. So the greater the clarity, the easier it'll be. And you got to think on paper. Well, on notes pad on a computer or something will probably be an okay way to think too, as long as you're writing it down. That's the key point. Decide exactly what you want. Become crystal clear about what you want. So the biggest waste of time there is doing a task very well that doesn't need to be done. So you need to decide what you want, become crystal clear about it, and head for that. Think on paper. When you write it, you have a tangible form. You create something you can touch and see. Unwritten goals lead to vagueness, confusion, misdirection, and numerous mistakes. Set a deadline. Urgency. The quicker you set yourself to get it done, the more likely you are to get it done. Make a list of everything you're going to have to do to achieve your goal. This is what we talked about in there too. Make a 10 list. What's the list? The 10 things that it's going to take for you to achieve this goal, and pick 2 of them and work on that. Organize the list into a plan. Decide the order it needs to be in. Arrange your list according to priority. So you've got a plan now. You have to write down everything. You need to organize it into a list according to priority. And when you get your calendar out, prioritize what you do so you get it done. Take action immediately. Number 7, resolve to do something every day that moves you towards your goal. You got to keep moving. If you ever stop moving, you become stagnant and lose interest. So, goals are the drive. Keep going toward that goal. Think about your goals, and every day think about how you're going to achieve them. And make sure you use the rest of these principles here to arrange your time so your time is most effectively used. Thank you for your time. I'd appreciate it if you didn't catch it in the beginning to like and subscribe, but I'd like for you to do one more thing. If you found value in this, share it with your friends. Share it with somebody you know needs some kind of control of their time that doesn't seem to have a grip on it.